This is episode 26 with Lauren Messiah.
So let's go, 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 go. I'll follow, wherever you go, 'cause
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Inventions show, where entrepreneurs, influencers, and authorities in the field today share their triumphs and challenges in both life and business. My name is Tacklee and the host of this show. Today, I'm excited to be speaking with the amazing Lauren Messiah, a Hollywood stylist and entrepreneur, coach, and author. She's the most in-demand personal stylist in LA, has been featured in the likes of the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and Vogue, just to name a few. Now, what she's been able to achieve is simply mind-changing, life-changing, and business-changing. So let's jump into it. Lauren, welcome to the show, and thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is mine. Now, the first thing I like to ask all my guests, for those who are not familiar with yourself, is can you please give us a window into your background? So who you are, when did your love of fashion begin, and what was your first job?
Let's see. So my love of fashion began when I was 5 years old. That's when my grandmother taught me how to sew. So I was making clothes for my Barbies and for myself, and I fell in love with it at that very moment.
Excellent.
The way that I got into working in fashion is quite roundabout. My first job was I worked at this tutoring company. It was called SCORE, and it was like an after-school program for kids. So I was one of the tutors there. I was 15 years old, and my dad said, "Are you sure you want a job? Because after you get this job, it's your work and the rest of your life." And I was like, "Let's do it."
All right, 2 thumbs up from your dad. Excellent. Now, I believe, Lauren, you sort of started your, let's call it, professional career in the retail industry. When did you decide to venture out on your own? And have you always been entrepreneurial?
I feel like in my bones, I've always been entrepreneurial. So, I went to school for fashion design because I thought that, I don't know, if you like fashion, that's what you do. You become a designer. And I went to school, and once I graduated, the job offers were not plentiful, and the ones that were did not pay a lot of money. So because I didn't know what else to do, I just got a job at the mall, and I worked retail. That's when my love of dressing women really came into play, because I would help customers dress, and I was fascinated at whatever outfit I put them in, whether they went on a job interview or a date. That outfit would make them more confident and could carry them into the next chapter of their life. But I didn't know that styling was a career at that point. I was actually really bad at retail, because if something didn't look good on them, I would tell them to go to a different store. I'm like, "Get out of here." "What are you doing here?" So I was terrible at making money for companies, which should have been my first clue. And then I ended up working in corporate America. So I worked as an executive assistant for, big tech company, and I hated it because it took so long for an idea to turn into anything.
So, Lauren, what made you, I guess, shift from being a celebrity stylist to a personal stylist?
Yeah. So, when I finally got out of retail and then got out of corporate and finally just started going for what I actually wanted to do, which was styling, I started off with celebrity styling because, again, that was kind of the only option at the time. And the fulfillment that I got in retail of dressing women and getting excited that it would take them into the next chapter, I didn't get that fulfillment when I did celebrity styling, because getting dressed was part of their job. It was just, they need to get dressed for a magazine or whatever. It didn't really impact them, One day I was teaching this workshop, and one of the customers said, "I wish I were a celebrity, because then you could be my stylist." And I had this light bulb moment where I'm like, wait, why don't I just treat her like a celebrity, even though she's a normal everyday woman, and just charge her money and do that? And that was the moment where my entrepreneurial journey really began.
Awesome. Now, I must say, I find your signature style method totally captivating, where you've basically been able to, I guess, combine and bring together personal development and styling, helping people transform from the inside out instead of just, on the outside. So how did that come about?
Well, I'm a fanatic for self-improvement.
Mm-hmm.
I
love it.
I love spirituality. I love personal development. So I think because it's so just in my character, that started to just naturally infuse into the way that I worked with my clients. Because for me, I could never
all good.
And there goes my children. All right, rewind.
Yep.
So I've always loved personal development, spirituality. So it naturally just infuses into what I do. And in order for me to figure out a person to dress them, I need to know who they are. I baked it in selfishly for me. I'm like, how could I just put someone in a shirt when I don't know their goals in life? I don't know their quirks, their personality. So once I started putting my work out to the masses and having women essentially become their own stylist, I had to infuse that work in so they could figure out who they were, because most people don't know who they are at all.
That is so true, I must say. And I absolutely love what you're doing. So Lauren, why does personal style matter?
Well, if you go anywhere, if you interact with any humans whatsoever, they're going to judge you. They're going to judge you.
Yes. Yes.
And, I always say, because people, when you say that, they'll, who cares what people think? You do care deeply what people think, because on a subconscious level, people are making associations based on your appearance. If you look, sloppy and disheveled, and you ask someone for $1 million in funding, your subconscious is like, they're not responsible. They can't even keep a stain off of their shirt. Right?
That is true. That is true.
If you go to a wedding and someone's wearing overalls, you're like, oh my gosh, what a disrespectful, idiot. What are they doing here? Whether they're a wonderful person or not. So it does matter.
Definitely. Which now I'd like to bring up your, leading into your new book, Lauren, Style Therapy, 30 Days to Your Signature Style, which is available now through Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and bookstores around the world. Now, it's been released to fantastic reviews, and people are saying it's going to become iconic. Ooh. Can you please tell us a little bit about the book and what made you write it?
So it's funny because when I was working one-on-one with women, I knew that there was no way that I could help the amount of women that I wanted to help. So I started to put my services out online through courses and videos. And I found that women were getting better results when they did the work themselves than when I was doing it. So I had created a book just on my own and put it out to my customers, and they were having crazy transformations, like on another level, crazy transformations. And by the time it came around for me to publish a book, I had all of this work of videos and challenges and motivational stuff. And, I remember my publisher was like, can you combine that with, the other like little book that you put out on your own? And it was just magic, because women transform way more than the outside. It's really a self-discovery journey for the inside as well.
Excellent. And I must say, I totally love how you encourage individuals to think about selfies, as a means of self-reflection and empowerment, instead of, I guess, bikini-clad models or, dudes with huge biceps. So I totally love that. And just for our audience that's listening at the moment, Lauren, and on your coaching and styling, how can they get in touch and, be involved in your program?
Yeah, so definitely go to my website, laurenmessiah.com, follow me on social media. Instagram and YouTube are the spot. Just search Lauren Messiah. And, it's a different flavor. If you're just out there looking for a run-of-the-mill stylist, like, this ain't it. like,
Hey, that's why we love it.
right?
Yeah.
So, take a look at what I got, see if you're into my vibe. And a couple of times a year, I offer a group coaching program called Beyond Style. And that's where we really dive deep in the inside and the outside. And it's a transformational journey in 6 weeks. That's crazy. Like if you enjoy the book, 30 days, this like new human.
Blow your mind.
Yes. But yeah, lauramessiah.com, you find all the magic there. Excellent.
I'll put the links in the show notes a bit later. And now I just want to move into your journey as an entrepreneur, Lauren, and as all entrepreneurs know it can be a lonely and challenging journey. So how do you, as a person, manage risk and fear?
Ooh, well, one of my mentors told me pretty early on in my career, he said, use fear to fuel you instead of, to freeze you, because fear is going to come. Like it's going to come, especially when you're an entrepreneur. Am I going to make enough revenue? Am I going to pay my employees?
Yes.
Is this product going to work? Is this going to flop? Like you're always going to be scared. So you may as well learn how to embrace the fear and feel that feeling more as exciting and a challenge. And I always reflect on my track record. Anytime anything in my career has been a total disaster, I'm still always okay. I learned an invaluable lesson. I bounced back. It's not, it's like, there's not many things in business that are going to like actually kill you. So
that is so true. That is so true.
Right.
Yeah.
So I use fear to motivate me for sure.
Excellent. So can you please share with us, I guess, what is your biggest area of improvement today? Has it been all rainbows and unicorns?
No, I feel like the pain is always a catalyst for growth. And if the work doesn't make you at least a little bit uncomfortable, the more uncomfortable, the better, then it's probably not going to work. Like it shouldn't all be fun, which is why I love infusing style with the personal development journey, because it does add a little bit of lightness and fun to it. And you do get to visually represent the transformation that you have just gone through, because transformations they're painful. Let's be honest. Yeah.
100%. And so, Lauren, on your journey, you have reinvented yourself, multiple times. If you could, I guess, go back in time, jump into Doc Brown's DeLorean from Back to the Future, talk to your 18-year-old self or a bit younger, coach her with what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
I would basically tell myself to just embrace your weirdness.
I love that. Embrace your weirdness.
I was doing some journaling this morning, just some like inner child work, and I'm like, wow, I've come full circle around to being the same person I was as a child. Like when you did what you liked and you were just free. Right. So like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally got back there. Like how crazy. But all the stuff in between of being like, why don't I fit in? Why am I not like everybody else? What's going to happen? What, like not being in the moment. I wish I could just say like, dude, roll with it. You're going to make a lot of money being weird. Just embrace it.
Yep. Totally love that one. Oh, I'm going to start being weird too now. Right? I love it.
Yeah.
Now, you're a highly successful entrepreneur. So I want to touch on now, I guess, turning point or points, in your life when you look back at what you've been, your journey so far, or your reinvention, everything that you have. Can you pinpoint a point that changed everything for you, or is it more of a collection of moments?
There's definitely some big ones, and there's, some smaller ones along the way. I think my biggest turning point in my career was when I was between having a normal job, a desk 9 to 5 job, and just first starting to enter my dream job, what I really wanted to do. And so many people that I've come across that want to work for themselves, be entrepreneurs, they are so afraid to take that leap. So they try to do a side hustle. And when the side hustle doesn't really pan out, they just go back to their job and call it a day. But for me, when I was juggling both, I was using sick days. I was making excuses to not show up at work. And my boss took me out to lunch. We went to a sushi restaurant and he's like, listen, you have not been to work. Like, what's going on? I said, well, I've discovered that I really love styling and I've been doing some little like side work and internships. And I said, I'd love to kind of work less hours for you. And he's like, it doesn't work that way. So he's like, you have a decision. You're either going to come to work and work full time, or I'm going to let you go and you're going to go pursue your dream. And I had no money. I had no savings. I was a total like party animal, wild child. And it was just that moment where you just jump and you hope that the net appears. And I think that was the biggest turning point for me, because it was the scariest thing, like talking about fear. There was no way I was moving home with my parents. There was no way I was asking my parents for money. It was just like, wow, this has to work.
Wow.
I just did it. So I think that was the turning point for me, where it's like, I can do this. And no matter what it is, like, sure, I lived off of employment for a while. I had to get a roommate. Like, my life had to change, but it was worth it. Now I make more money than I ever would at a job. I have freedom. I'm happy. So yeah, that was it for me. Like, oh, I can take a big risk and it can pay off.
Wow. That's powerful stuff. And listeners, take note of that one, rewind it and replay it. So now everyone has their own definition of success, Lauren. So what does success mean to you now? And how do you define it?
Right now, it's always changing. I think we all have different markers of success. When I was in my 30s, I really wanted to, make $1 million in revenue per year. Like that, I was like, by 35 million in revenue, like that's the goal. And I hit the goal. And it was like, okay. And then the target moves. Like, now what? Like, now what's the new success marker? Today, a little older, a little wiser, hopefully, is just to have a good life. Like, I don't want to be in front of my computer all freaking day. I don't want to miss a beautiful sunset. I don't want to miss the opportunity to go to the beach for the day. I want a balanced life is successful for me. And being around a lot of powerful entrepreneurs, we all have differing mindsets, and they're like, there's no such thing as balance. Like, you'll sleep when you're dead. And I used to be like that. And now I'm like, wait, no, what's the point? Like, what's the point? If you can't enjoy the ride, like, what's the point? So for me, if I have empty space in my day, if I can meditate in the middle of the day, like, that's success. If I wake up happy and not stressed out with my hair on fire, like, that's success. That's pretty much the life I lead. So I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. And now you sort of mentioned this a bit earlier on, Lauren, about spirituality. And through my readings on yourself, you mentioned you're pretty woo-woo.
Yes.
No, so I want to touch on, I guess, spirituality briefly. I mean, a lot of people think it's, woo-woo, which is totally fine. I'm a little bit woo-woo myself, so it's all good. So what are your thoughts on it helping and leading to success in life and business?
Oh my, it's the number one ingredient. So it's funny, when I first launched my group coaching program called Beyond Style, and it's very difficult to describe. Everyone's like, what is it? I'm like, you're like, oh, and what it boils down to, and it still probably won't make sense, but like, they're the success principles that no one will teach you.
Yes.
Because
Agree.
it's all mindset. Like being successful in business, being happy in life, it's all mindset. So you can learn every marketing technique, you can read every book, you can go to every business seminar, and you can still fail. You can have the best idea in the world, the most beautiful website, and you can still fail miserably. But then there's other people that no matter what they do, they can wrap up a turd and they're wildly successful.
Golden touch, yes.
Right. It's all in the mind. Like I'll watch Shark Tank and they're literally like one company was that they draw on a potato. They like draw on a potato and mail it to people for their birthday. And they're like making millions. I'm like, you can't, that is all up here.
I know.
So having that balance of, you know, self-reflection, journaling, meditation, being able to transfer negative thoughts into positive thoughts immediately. Once you do that, you're unstoppable. And then you have the clarity to tap into your purpose and actually start a business that you love to have.
Yes.
Because if you love it, then when you get knocked down, you'll get back up. Yes,
100%. Like Rocky Balboa, you know, I love that movie. Just thought I'd put that in. Now, so talking about success, I'm also curious about your thoughts on this, Lauren. A lot of people have success, you know, but also have the feeling of not enough. The feeling there's something more that will, you know, either bring them, I guess, accomplishments, happiness, or fulfillment. So what are your views and the saying of you never have enough until you define how much is enough? Is there an enough?
If you look at it in terms of stuff, you know, once I get this, then this will happen, then you'll be on the wheel forever. So I think, you know, you hit it when you said fulfillment. There has to be something deeper that fulfills you, that even if you don't get the success marker of X amount of dollars or X recognition, you'll never get it. But for me, I feel fulfilled when I can watch my clients go have successful lives, because I could leave the planet and be like, I actually did something. Like I didn't just sit here and just make a bunch of money and get to brag because my book's in a bookstore. It's like, no, I did something that impacted this person, and she's going to go impact this many people, and it creates this ripple effect. So to me, that makes me feel fulfilled. And then it doesn't matter how many, because my work's already doing its work, if that makes sense.
No, it does. And I totally love, I guess, you know, I think when you had your online program sort of, I think it was right 2019, 2018, Lauren. And it's like, you know, when I was doing my readings, you know, so I feel like, geez, maybe you foresaw, you know, what's coming. And then you've sort of pivoted in a way at the right, perfect time. It's like, wow, that's amazing.
Man, I was very grateful for my foresight.
The visions.
Right? I mean, it was crazy. And the entrepreneur group that I'm in, EO, it's a global organization for entrepreneurs. And when the pandemic hit, everyone was like scrambling. And it's funny because when I came in, they were like, what is that business? Okay, you like do stuff online, like, okay.
Yeah.
And then this hits, they're like, do you have time for a Zoom call? Like, I was all prepared.
Excellent. Now, I guess the world is rapidly changing and will continue to evolve. So for the budding entrepreneurs, the up and comers, what values do you see, Lauren, are important to instill into the younger generation to give them that competitive edge?
Yeah. It's all about, I mean, you hear this 1,000 times, but it bears repeating. It's all about solving a problem. And that's how I was able to remain nimble during the pandemic as the world changed. Like, sure, I was already prepared with online classes. I had an online community, but I immediately thought, like, what do people need right now? They're locked in their houses. They got nothing to do. Like they need connection. They need community. So I immediately launched these like Zoom styling parties. Everybody cameras on. It wasn't just me talking and teaching. We're interacting together. And many of my clients were like, that got me through it. Like you saved my life in that moment. So I feel like if you're always thinking about what your customer needs versus what you think they need, then you can make moves that are going to carry you through tough times or allow you to generate revenue. Because especially in these times, if something doesn't hit them to their core that they need it, they're not going to spend money on it because things are very uncertain right now.
Yep. Totally. 100. Yeah, I really agree with that one, especially with what's in these interesting times, let's just say. So what's exciting for Lauren Messiah at the moment? I mean, what are you doing to position yourself moving forward?
Well, everything's exciting to me right now. But
lovely. Yep.
I've really been enjoying my group programs. It's something relatively new. I launched in 2020, Beyond Style. And then from there, once I help these women tap into their passion and their purpose, they're like, I want to turn this into a business. So then I launched a business group coaching program called Beyond Business.
Yep.
So I'm like taking these, in this incredible group of women through this journey. And it's just been so fulfilling. And now I'm just seeing so many possibilities for them and how I can continue to support them. So that's been the most exciting thing for me at the moment.
Wow. I love it. So what is your legacy, Lauren? What do you want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for helping women become who they're supposed to be. Like, that's my legacy. I think that women should be dressing authentically. I think they should be walking through the world confidently. I think they should be, kicking butt in the workplace, starting their own businesses and not being afraid to do exactly what they want to do. So if I can help as many women do that, then I've made my mark.
I love that one. Okay, now the next two questions, Lauren, I ask all my guests, and I just love the responses that come back. Now, the first one is, if you can have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Oh, boy. That's tough. I mean, if I had to have a billboard like tomorrow, it would be with my book and my face on it.
Of course. Yep.
Yeah, I'd be all decked out. I've actually visualized my billboard many times in my life because I really, one of my big dreams is I want a style makeover show. I actually self-produced one on my YouTube channel called Style Therapy after my book. But all of my, the people in my circle, they're like, you're the style messiah, because my last name's Messiah. So I'm like, ooh, I want some like,
hey, it's meant to be. Yeah.
Right. This is style messiah. And I'll be like, I don't know, some light glowing off of me or something. So yeah, that would be the billboard.
Cool. And what superpower do you wish you had and why?
I feel like superpowers are highly overrated, like I don't want to hear people's thoughts. It would freak me out. Like, I don't want to be invisible. It's just too creepy because then I'd worry that somebody else was invisible.
Hey, that is true.
Right?
Yep.
Right?
Haven't had that one yet. Yes, that is so true. Yes.
I think I'll just stick with my human powers. I think I'll just stick with my, I'll stick with my human powers. Actually, if I picked one, I don't know if this counts as a superpower. I would want to be my dog for one day. I would want to see life through the eyes of my dog for one day.
Wow. I've never had that one, Lauren. So that is awesome. I actually love it. And you actually got me thinking, so, wow, yeah, that is
like,
cool.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now we have to work towards wrapping up, and super mindful of your time, Lauren. Great shares, insights, and really appreciate your transparency and willingness to share. I just have two final questions. First is, where can people find out more about yourself, your book, Style Therapy, and your online programs?
Yes. Just go to lauramessiah.com. You'll see in the navigation, it will guide you anywhere you want to go. lauramessiah.com.
Excellent. And I must say to my audience and those that are listening, her website is number one. Excellent. I love your website. It's so easy to use and it's so nice, just so nice to look at.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
and secondly, what parting words of wisdom would you like to impart for our listeners?
I would say if you have that feeling inside of you that you're meant for more, then it means you're meant for more. And you need to start getting into action on that. Don't wait. Just go. Just do it.
Wow. Jeez. Now you just keep getting me thinking, Lauren. Those, okay, I have to go back, rewind it, and re-listen to that one. It's like, okay, 100%. Now, awesome. Now, thanks again, Lauren. Truly appreciate your time. Stay well, be well, and take care.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks again for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. You can find me on social media at iam.tacklee, and I'll catch you next time. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. And remember, you have the choice to make the choice. Stay well, be well, and stay social.
Yo,